Makers. It's been a little while since we talked about any of this, but I figure with fall time coming in, it's pretty important to talk about. A lot of people right now like to give either fall calves or spring calves. We typically do fall calves, partially because a long time ago somebody actually told me that's a good way to have calves, and then also it just seems like, you know, when they get a little bit bigger, when they're not so dependent on milk, that way it'll be in the springtime, then that way they can go ahead and jump right into the fresh green grass. But there are some risks with that. And some of the risks with that are, we've had several cows in the past that have gotten pneumonia. And not just young cows, we've had some older ones. So that's one of the pieces I want to talk about today. I really just want to spend a little time talking about animal health. And what's the best way to have your animals healthy? Well, it starts with obviously what you're putting into them, no different than us. If you're putting in good healthy food into them, it makes all the difference in the world. You know, in the wintertime, it can be hard. We don't have our own hay here, so we've got to be really selective on who we buy our hay from, because we want to make sure we get the best quality hay. And then also, we typically feed a lot of, well, not a lot, but we feed a decent amount of alfalfa pellets. We think those are really healthy for them, and right now, from what I can tell, most of the alfalfa is not GMO, so that's really nice from that standpoint. And then, you know, there are instances when animals do get a little bit under the weather. So what can you do? You know, we already talked about how they're going to eat real well. The other big piece for us is not only for when they give birth, but also during those inclement weather times. We've got shelters for all of our animals. So our chickens have their own pen, our quail have their own pen, the ducks have their own pen, turkeys have their own pen. We've got sheep that has their own area as far as to stay out of the cover, and we've also got a full birthing area for them. And then also our cows. That's part of why I'm sitting on the ladder, is because today I'm actually finishing off an area. Let's see if I can show you real quick. But we're actually, you know, building and adding on to another area, so that way we can get our cows into a nice, healthy location. Because, you know, it's not necessarily location, but it's keeping them out of the weather. Because we're fully expecting this winter to have quite a bit of snow, you know, to have some ice, and you know, some blowing wind. And like I said earlier, our calves, they're coming. We've got one mama who's probably 2 weeks away, and then we're about 6 weeks away from two other cows that should be giving birth. So we want to make sure that we've got the best location and the best protection for our animals. And then finally, you know, we have had some animals sick. You know, we talked about food. What's the next piece? You know, you can go to penicillins. There's lots of stuff you can get over the counter. But I'll be honest with you, my wife and I found that, you know, we don't want to eat those. We don't want to eat that stuff. It's not something that is, we feel, you know, the way Yahweh made it. So there's plenty of herbs and other things out there. So what we've decided to do, and we've done it for the last 3 years, we've made a lot of tinctures. And tinctures that we use are specifically alcohol based, but we use a lot of the same things that we would ingest ourselves for our animals. And you're saying, well, how do you get your animals to eat it? Well, it's simple. We just put it in their alfalfa pellets, similar to what we talked to before when we had to actually help nurse our cow back. You know, we use a lot of garlic. We'll use elderberries. We'll use anything from colloidal silver, you know, to different types of things, depends on where it's at. So those are the types of things I'd encourage you to think about before fall gets, you know, too far underway. There's still plenty of time to go ahead and get your tinctures ready. There's plenty of different recipes out there. I don't want to claim to be an expert on any of them, but we have had several that we've used that have been really successful for the animals. And if we have several animals that sometimes will not ingest the garlic, so I've made garlic tinctures, so that way they're still going to be able to, you know, to ingest it through their alfalfa pellets. So I guess that's what I really want to talk about today, because animal health is something that's, you know, in our mind and constantly going. But we also know that if we can keep the animals out of the wind, feed them healthy, keep them out of the rain, there's probably a less chance of any of that happening. Plus, keep them in a nice segregated area, you know, away from others at that time, because in the fall time when diseases start to hit, sometimes they can spread to other animals. So we try to keep them a little bit separate, and that'll happen, you know, by keeping them separate, you'll take the less chance of spreading. No different than it is with us humans. So that's what we're trying to put together here over the next few days. Get together another shelter, and that just led me to want to talk to you all. Hopefully, get you thinking about some other ways and alternatives besides just taking a shot and giving it to your animal. Because I'll be honest, I was there. I was there 4 years ago, and then I had 3 animals die, not only under my care, but also had a vet come out to help and assist. And when we lost 3 animals, I was heartbroken. I just couldn't believe it, because that was the start of our herd, and we lost 3 cows over the course of a couple months, and I felt terrible. So ever since then, I just started doing a lot of reading and found out, you know what, we can do this no different than the way the Father wants us to heal ourselves. So just encourage you to do it. Take your time, and yes, you're going to have some struggles along the way, but there's plenty of people out there, guaranteed, that are willing to help. Have a good day, and thanks for subscribing. Shalom. You saw us just a little while ago. Actually, it's been probably a couple months ago. We actually dug in these corner posts because we knew we had the idea of what we wanted to house for the winter. But the root cellar just took up so much of our time, we kind of didn't get back to this, and it's actually been good that we didn't, because now the extra lumber we had to buy for the root cellar, we're actually able to repurpose for building our extra storage shed. So not only are we building the storage shed, we're also finishing off the quail house, and then we're also going to finish off a place for the turkeys. And then this winter, because we're setting up the cows and the sheep a little bit different, we're also going to build a lean-to for the cows. So the cows will have their own separate area, the sheep are going to have their own separate area, the turkeys and the quail, they'll have their own separate area, and then our chickens will have our own separate area. So been a lot of building this year, but we really feel good about where we're at. And if you probably saw the woodshed build, if you've looked at that video, this is very similar to what we're doing. All we're doing is just adding on to it, and it's been, I'll be honest, this has been a blessing as far as to have that design and that idea, because it's been working out so well. There's no load on the roof or anything like that. We're not planning on doing anything like that. So there's probably a few questions on how we are, structurally supporting it, but we are putting a center beam in it, so that way it should give it some more support. So come with us today, and we'll show you the build out. We've got the top part on. I don't know if you can see it, but we've got 2 top sections up there as far as going from the existing shed over. Now we're putting on the main support that goes from the front to the back, and once again we're using all cedar. We are repurposing a few deck boards and then also some other wood just to make it happen. And one little thing I just want to share, my daughter just came down and brought me some golden raspberries. I tell you, these little things have been a blessing all the way through. Just such a nice snack to have while I'm out here working. But it is one of the cooler days, so definitely feeling blessed about that. But I just think it's great that we're able to continue to snack and use what we've got here on the homestead versus buying some processed junk. Thanks. Shalom. Okay, so you've seen us, we've just put up the rafters. Now all we're going to do is space them out, and after we get them spaced, the next part of the project will be, we're going to put in the center header support. So stay with us and we'll keep on rolling. Shalom. You can see, if you look up, we've got the whole, as far as all the top grid in, and right now what we're doing is putting in a center support. This is a free floating center support. So it's not tied into the ground. We want to be able to remove it. So all I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take a couple screws right here and just stick a scab board on each side. So then that way, if an animal bumps into it or we bump into it, it won't come out. But if we need to take out the screws, then we can just simply take out the screws and then we can drop out this board. So that's what we're planning on doing. And then we're going to probably do the same for the very front. Also, right now we've just got it held up with the clamp. Most likely we're going to end up doing the same thing right up there. So thanks for watching. See you in a few. Okay, we're back, and you can see I'm already starting to put the sheeting up on top. We did end up putting another support pole here in the front, and then also the one that we showed just a minute ago in the middle. Already got 2 pieces of the sheet metal up, putting on 3 foot by 21 foot long, and it seems to be going real well. All we're doing is using those rubber shanked nails, so that way they won't leak. We do have a few extra holes in here because this is just recycled material from a chicken barn as far as the roof, but it's amazing how good a shape it's in, and we're just using it, finishing it off. So when it's all said and done, back here we'll go ahead and put some additional cedar around here, and then we'll also put cedar right over in here. And then like I said, the long-term plan after that is we're going to go ahead and come off of, so the sun won't be too bad, come right off of here with an angle coming out just with just probably 12 feet out, and that'll be a spot where we'll have our cows, so that way they'll have it out of the weather. And again, over there we'll go ahead and we'll make that spot will be covered with cedar, and then over here it'll be all covered with cedar, and then we'll just have it open in the front here, probably the front 2/3, give them another little corner over here that they can go ahead and play in and make sure they stay out of the weather. Just really want to give our animals the best quality of life we can, and also protect them from the weather. I know a lot of these animals just run out, and that's just the way they're kind of set up as far as the ranches and stuff that they're on. But if we can do anything to help take care of our animals, not have to give them any shots, or do anything around pneumonia, just anything that would require penicillin or any of those other antibiotic type things, we just really want our all of our animals to be GMO free, grass fed, no antibiotics, none of those types of things. We just no hormones. We really want our animals to be kept in the best health, just the way Yahweh made them. So if we can keep them separated in the wintertime when diseases can happen, and then keep them under cover whenever rain or snow or ice or anything comes, definitely think we'll have a good opportunity. I mean, you can see we've got a good amount of trees where they could hide and do other things like that, but still, if we can get them fully out of the weather and out of the wind, we just feel really good about it. So hopefully you're enjoying this series on building our little this like I said, for all of our different animals. This specific area that I'm building right now, though, is going to actually be for keeping all materials that we get out of the weather. So you can see we've got a little extra fencing and stuff here, and we're making sure that we keep that out of the weather. I know long term it will be designed to go out in the weather, but it's one of those pieces, if I can keep it as new as we can, keep it out of the weather, the best chance we're going to have for making it easy to work with when we need it, and then also making sure it's ready when we do need it. So thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great time, blessed in your household. Thanks for subscribing. Shalom.